Welcome back to another episode of Street Level with Chris Chermak. I hope you liked last week's episode with our guest Gus Fahey from Valley in Motion. Talked about all the cool things going on there. I thought it was great. If you didn't see it, check it out. Today we have Jason Kavulich from the Lackawanna County Area Agency on Aging. We're going to talk about all the things that go on in that department. Important things that's going on now are the vaccines that we're giving out. So I hope you enjoy that show. So here we go. Here's Jason. All right, Jason Kavulich from the Lackawanna County Area Agency on Aging. I can always mix those up. I always say
it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, area and aging. I don't know. But anyway, so before we even start talking about the agency and what you do, how about yourself? Because I want everybody to know who they're listening to.
Well, I'm a lifelong Lackawanna County resident. I was born and raised in Scranton, in Westside. I went to St. Anne's School. I went to West Scranton High School. Graduated the University of Scranton. Very proud member of our community. I like to be involved in a lot of different things. I really do love to see and support all the small businesses that we have. It's kind of my thing, my passion, and it's important for me to be a good community member as well as a good steward of the public's trust and resources. In my professional capacity at the Area Agency on Aging.
So you start out at St. Anne's?
St. Anne's grade school, yes.
A couple of rulers across the knuckles, maybe?
More than a couple. Small class, great class, only 18 students.
18?
But some of the best people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. Okay, well, so my mother's family is from the West Side, yes. So probably have some relatives down there. So tell us about exactly what the Area Agency on Aging is. I mean, there's a lot that you do, and I don't know if people realize the stuff that your office and department does.
I really don't think everyone really understands how far we go and how deep the service array is at the Area Agency on Aging. And to do it justice would take, a 2-day presentation. Yeah. But in essence, we are the connection point and the convening point for all older adult services in the service spectrum, the service array. So with anything, if an older adult has a problem, they can contact us. Now, we might not be the final solution, but we can steer you in the direction of where you need to go or guide you through a process that you need to take so that you can solve your problem. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of hoops that we have to jump through, but our goal at all times is to make sure that we're helping someone. And helping someone really doesn't always mean we're giving someone something or giving someone something that they want. It's just offering them what's available to them based on their circumstances. There's no cookie cutter approach to working with people, and everybody's life circumstances and everybody's case is different. And we try to be as flexible and adjust. But as long as we are doing something to help the problem or to alleviate the need, we feel like we're accomplishing our mission. We're not a perfect agency. We're always trying to improve, and we're always in a state of self-reflection. But I'm really, incredibly proud of the people that I work with, and they're incredible professionals, and they've dedicated their life to this work. And some of them have been doing this a lot longer than I have, and I've learned from all of the life experiences and professional experiences they bring to the table.
Yeah. How many years have you been with the county?
I've been with the county just over 21 years now.
Okay. So when I first became commissioner, I was amazed when I started coming into your, I can't say it office, but area, and saw the amount of people. How many people work in that department typically?
In the whole human service department, I mean, you have the Office of Youth and Family Services, the Human Services Office, Drug and Alcohol Services, Behavioral Health, Intellectual Disability, and Aging. So, I mean, just between children and youth and aging alone, you're over 200 people. Yeah. And then you add Barb and Mary Ann's, there's close to 300 employees just in human services.
Yeah. Well, it just amazed me what went on in there. And as I started to learn all the things that you do, I mean, basically our county tax money, that it goes towards human services and taking care of our elderly. I mean, that's a big part of what we do.
Well, primarily one of what makes aging unique in terms of the funding spectrum is our funding comes primarily from the lottery fund. About 82% of our money comes from the lottery fund. Then the rest is from federal sources. So that makes up the difference. And then our county makes a contribution, which not every county makes. So our county has contributed to the Area Agency on Aging in different capacities in different years based on need. And it's a good feeling to know that in this administration and other administrations, the needs of the older adults have never been ignored. And we've done our very best, and we're on our 5th year without a waiting list for services, which is good. And we're trying to make sure that we serve everybody in a degree that we can, so that no one is going without.
Yep. Now, and then we get out into the community and the different community centers and stuff. You kind of have a lot to do with that as well, even though some of them are kind of independently run.
Well, when we talk about we've changed what we do in the space of senior centers. We don't run senior centers any longer. All the senior centers in Lackawanna County are have been under the Area Agency on umbrella
Right.
that get funding from us. There's a few independent ones that don't want our assistance and choose to operate on their own, which is it's wonderful too. But those that are under us, we partner with the United Neighborhood Centers to administer. There's the campus at Fallbrook that's opening. It's a brand new campus. There's the campus in Westside. That's the Oppenheim campus. And then there's the Hillside campus that we directly manage with Area Agency on Aging employees. But
that's the Abington
right
area one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That model is a shared model. So we share decision making between United Neighborhood Centers and our office, and it's a very it's a team approach and team solutions, and we interchange programming, and we have consistent programming offered to everyone. And then we have some satellite campuses. We've got a satellite campus that's reopening in Jessup. We have a satellite campus in Troop and Dunmore, and one in Taylor too. And they are more independent and more run by volunteers and the municipalities that they're housed in.
Yeah.
And we're looking at opening a satellite campus in Carbondale at the YMCA to complement the campus that we have at Fallbrook too.
Okay. So, and let's not even get into the COVID part of our world, but before that, typically what goes on what could people do? Some people that don't even know anything about them, because a lot of people don't. There's a lot of programs that are in these for just for people just go hang out and talk. But there are a lot of things going on.
There is, on the campuses, at the senior centers in particular, there's everything from art to craft to education. And real information sharing. There's technology available for older adults to access. There is there's trained professionals there too to talk to about some important stuff. If you need to access services, or you have a question about something you might qualify for, we have, between United Neighborhood Centers and the Area Agency on Aging, we have trained individuals readily available to meet your needs in a quiet and respectful way. And have your questions answered and hopefully connect you to what you need. So our model is a little different than other communities, but it's been effective, and it's a good way to help people. But the campuses are fun. The campuses are doing new things all the time. Yes, there is bingo. People like to play bingo still, and we want to continue that. And there's mahjong, and people still like to play mahjong. People still quilt and knit and have a very active pool league in Hillside when we're back in reality. We really are focused on health and wellness, though. We want to continue to bring exercise. We want to continue to bring healthy lifestyles to our older adult community, and be able to give them those opportunities so that they can stay healthy, they can stay active, and it improves their overall being. And we want to make sure that we hone in on that. That's why we've changed the name. That's a Healthy Aging Campus. It's no longer It's no longer a senior center.
And people have to realize too that everybody's welcome.
Yes.
And how do they get in touch? Like if
they just have to show up.
Just show up and walk in the door.
We have the schedule online. You can call any of the campuses for a schedule to know when we're open. There's lunch every day in most places. We're working on having an evening meal too for people to share and make sure that they have that experience as well. We're trying to get things done differently so that we can attract people to this communal space and cut down on isolation, cut down on loneliness, make connectivity, help people make friends. And not everybody wants to come, but we want everyone to feel welcome to come and share the space. We welcome diversity, in all ways, shapes, and forms. We encourage it, and we really want everyone to feel that this is their space, and they should feel free to come in it. We've changed our governance to have a more town hall approach, so that it's really going to be for anybody who's attending. You're going to get a say in how we're going to move forward.
Right.
What programs you like, what programs you don't like. Bringing it back to the people that we serve and empowering them, giving them the power to tell us, we didn't like this. We want to change this. We want to make this better.
Yeah. Well, when my grandmother was alive, I know she utilized the one in the Abingtons. Now, are they all open and operating now?
We are operating Oppenheim and Hillside on a full-time basis. The municipalities have not necessarily opened up their space yet. Dunmore is open to some capacity. Fallbrook is a new building, so we're just waiting for that to be complete. And Jessup is reopening. Troop and Taylor have been primarily just distributing meals. We've also had some help with meal distribution from the JCC.
Okay. That's what I was just going to say. We, during the early on in the pandemic, a lot of it was delivering meals and getting them out to the people who are basically now shut in.
Yes.
So,
well, the grab and go program that we were able to implement has been tremendously successful. So, we varied from in the height of the pandemic to frozen meals being available for pickup for people to now there's just a grab and go lunch or a grab and go meal that you can have. And we alternate sometimes when the numbers have been spiking. We've been going back to frozen meals so people have nutrition. We know that they're getting their needs taken care of. And more importantly, we're doing the check-in to know that they're okay and seeing them and having a conversation with them and making it as personal as we can. Like we care about everybody as a person, and your own unique needs are really what we want to focus on. Yeah. There's no way to just do one big sweep and say, okay, we've met everyone's needs. We got to do it one-on-one.
It's a battle every day. So then the COVID pandemic hit, and I remember, your biggest concern was feeding these people, and I don't remember the groups of people, but the meals and the volunteers and the restaurants and people that stepped up to help. I remember handing out meals on Kaiser Avenue with you, in particular, just that one day. But it was going. You had that going everywhere.
There was, that particular event was sponsored by Hooked, and they provided the meals, and it was a great day, and it was a great outpouring of support, especially for our older adults. Meals on Wheels is our meal partner. Primarily. They've helped us with Friends of the Poor do the Thanksgiving program, in addition to the meals that they deliver every week for older adults throughout all of Lackawanna County. The volunteers at Meals on Wheels, they're tremendous in terms of just checking on people and making sure they're taken care of and reporting back to our office if there's a problem that we have to jump in and maybe have a more in-depth conversation with someone about what their needs are. Our office does a lot of things. You can go back to meals and you can go back to assessments and you can talk to about all those things. But when you call our office, 3 things are going to happen. We're going to answer your question. We're going to offer you the ability to have an assessment, which means we're going to spend some time with you in your home, answer ask you a bunch of questions, gather your information, and then come back and say, this is what you could qualify for. This would help you meet your needs. There's the ugly side of what we're doing there too, and that's protective services. And abuse and neglect and exploitation is tough to talk about, but it happens. And, we have a, 24/7 protective services team that responds to all these needs. Exploitation's been, a growing concern, and we talk about it as anytime I get a microphone in front of me that I have an open audience, I want to talk about, watch out for your older relatives, watch out for your neighbors. People will take advantage of them. Some of our biggest allies in this are bank tellers and people that work at grocery stores and people that work at a pharmacy that see someone constantly and have a great rapport with them, but know something's going on. They're our biggest allies in this.
Yeah.
They're our biggest allies in identifying when they're isolated too, and there's a change in their life. That's one good thing about this community. We pay attention and we take care of our own in all ways. And we, especially at our office, we appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize what you guys all did and how hard you all worked and the dedicated people until I started to get to know everybody. It impressed me, I can tell you. And I can't thank you guys enough for everything that you do. Now we get into the pandemic side of things, and we start talking about testing. That was our first battle, to get people tested for COVID, which was a challenge.
Much like the vaccine, the testing resources were the struggle. So we had people in place to do testing. We had human service support partners in place to do testing. We just didn't have the tests. And it wasn't until the 23rd of December that the Department of Health allocated us the tests we needed to go into high rises and start testing older adults, knowing that living in those communal settings meant that they had a greater chance of spreading the virus, but also contracting it too. Because in all of those facilities, and I shouldn't say facilities, in all those places where people live, okay, in that communal environment, you've got Meals on Wheels coming in from the outside and visiting 5 other buildings. You've got, home health aides, and you've got visiting nurses, and you have family in and out of those buildings all the time, in a lot of contact with a lot of different people. And you're just raising the odds if you're playing the math. And we wanted to make sure we took care of that population first, because they were very susceptible. Not that all older adults weren't, but just like I said, doing the numbers and looking at the outcomes, we wanted to make sure that we hit this population first and then grew it out. But by the time we got the resources we needed to move forward, we were already switching gears and doing vaccines.
Vaccines, right. And which, again, it was getting the supplies that we needed, getting the vaccine, which is still not as easy as I wish it was, but it seems to be loosening up a little bit. And then most recently, we were able to do our first mass vaccination site, which was 3,600, I think it was. We did up at Montage Mountain, and was a huge success. Very well organized, thanks to you and other people from the county. I mean, everybody stepped up.
Well, I think the lesson that we've learned throughout the pandemic is that one wonderful thing this administration has allowed us to do as department heads is we can really act as conveners in the community to bring all the parts of the community together to work on a problem. Yes, I played a part in the large clinic, but I was just one of a very small, a very large body of people that put all this together. But bringing in the providers and having them sit at the same table and talk to the Allisons and the Tom DePietros and the Lori Slocums and Mike Rwans and Eric Puseys, and then bring in the Joe Hollanders and the folks from the Wright Center and all of the people that were working in this space, and getting them all together to say, okay, this is how we're going to break this apart. This is how we're going to make sure we're meeting the needs. And then watching it all happen in front of us. Dennis Doherty running his clinics up and down the valley and into Pike County, and all the folks that I've mentioned too, they're tremendous people, and they're some of, I really have a deep respect for all of them and what they've done for the community in trying to make sure that they vaccinate as many of us as possible, and educate all along the way, and give people that sense of safety and security that we've been wanting for well over a year now. And without them working with us, it couldn't happen.
Right.
And the sense of support that we had from our partners in the human service world. You had the United Way, as always, standing right next to the county, making sure people were registered and calling, making literally thousands of phone calls with United Neighborhood Centers and Neighbor Works of Pennsylvania working side by side with us in the field, helping actually get clinics done. So as well as making phone calls. It was really, there's so many people to thank. There's so many people to acknowledge in making this a reality. I don't know if everyone really understands all the behind the scenes logistics that it takes.
They don't, but it was remarkable.
Yeah.
For me, it started, it was on a weekend, because I know I talked to you. I got a phone call that I have an ultra freezer for you. You got to make this happen. And we had the plan in place, but we didn't have vaccine. And so I called you on, I think it was probably a Sunday, and said, I have this freezer. We got to make this happen. And you made it start clicking, and phones started ringing. And I think it was, what was it? The next week we were putting shots in people's arms.
Well, I think we were all ready to roll. I mean, Mark Dorr and his department, Brian Jeffers had been planning this. I mean, Brian says it, I think it's pretty funny. He said he never thought when he became chief of staff he'd spend so much time with the director of aging. It's
exactly.
But our whole team, right down to the great people that work for EMA and 911 and Dave Hahn's group, they, like, just on a drop of a dime, this happened. And you would think that we were planning this for a year, but the same thing happened at Scranton High School. When we were asked to jump in, and Rich Barbolish and his crew came down and helped get that outside clinic taken care of. Our first and only drive-through clinic, put on by Mike Ruan and his pharmacy. We helped make sure that happened, and it was successful. I had my own staff volunteering that day. We brought in extra nursing from one of our providers and partners at Revolutionary Health and Interim Health. So we really we've been able to just garner this energy in the community, thank God.
Yeah.
And get done what needed to be done.
Well, even at the mass vaccine site, I mean, my job was to haul people with the golf carts so I did that for about 12 hours straight. But
Best driver we had.
Yeah, well, I didn't hit anything. I didn't run anybody over. It was good. But we had students from the medical. We had Penn State nursing students. We had Lackawanna College nursing students, and it was great. They were all there. It was like an army of people. It was phenomenal.
We would not be this far along in not just that clinic, but in all clinics without the nursing students and the students at all the universities in our community. They're out injecting with the supervision of their instructors. But Marywood, the university, Lackawanna College, Penn State, we saw Wilkes University students. They're all there, and literally helping us get people shots. And it's great to see it happen and watching it unfold just in front of you, and knowing that here's the future of our medical community, and they're getting real life experience and doing really important work at the same time.
That's the best training there is. Yes. We utilized the 211 number, which I know at first was a little bogged down because we didn't have the people on the other end of the lines that we needed. But is that still the number to call to get on lists, or are there better numbers at this point? I know our website has this information, but
we're working to make a better way for people to access where clinics are going to be held and get onto their online registration page. But the 211 number is going to stay active so long as we know individuals might not have technology readily available. Yeah. Okay. Or they don't have a smartphone, they don't have internet. You could still call 211 at any age now, and they'll get you connected to the next available clinic. It's a live connection. And the volume of calls when we started the 65 and older 211 number, the volume of calls was it was immense, and it did cause a lot of wait time. But
Yeah.
as the vaccine has, we were up to, some people waited for over an hour because
Yeah.
it wasn't a phone. This isn't a phone bank. These are people, caseworkers, helping you get your needs met. So as we've seen vaccine come into the community, that sense of urgency and panic has lessened, and really those who are struggling to access because of technology have this option, and it's been helpful to a lot of people.
Okay. Do you see this? I think it's kind of smoothed out for the most part. So normally, if I wanted to get my shot and I call the 211 number, what's my wait time, do you think, at this point?
Less than 10 minutes.
And how about getting a shot in my arm?
Probably the week you call.
It's pretty much you can get in now.
There's been enough clinics going on that most people can get the week they call in.
Okay.
One of the things we're seeing now is people deciding what vaccine they want. So they're like, oh, I was scheduled for Moderna, but I want Pfizer. And the J&J scenario has.
Well, we're kind of on hold there.
Yeah, and it is. It's definitely changed things, but we still have enough of the other two coming in to at least continue to hold our ground. We're not losing ground.
Yeah.
We had, Delta Medics helped us build this beautiful plan to do the homebound individuals, and we're still going to.
Yeah.
But we were relying on the J&J to do that because of the single dose, and now we took it. The plan is still happening. We're still compiling the list, but we're going to take it a step back only because we're using Moderna. And Delta didn't get their supply of Moderna this week because they were anticipating J&J.
Right.
So all of those factors and those things are in constant flux. So it's every morning you have to take the pulse and know what's going on in the space of vaccines, and which one of our providers has a need, which one of our providers is doing a clinic. The medical society, do we need to ask them for volunteers, because they've been tremendous with what they've given in terms of man hours.
Right.
So
well, and people have to remember, this isn't a county issue or a state issue or nationwide issue. It's worldwide.
Yes.
So it's a massive undertaking, and I think it's leveling off. You definitely can see it, but we'll get there. We'll get there, and then hopefully this will be a distant memory, not too long, hopefully. But it's been a tough year.
I believe we are turning a corner. We have a lot of confidence that we're really gaining momentum. We're really making progress. We feel that we've got most of the older adults who want the vaccine, and we're not, if you still have a need, call our office, call the Area Agency on Aging. If it's a special need, if you're concerned, if you're worried about getting the vaccine, you just want to talk it through, we'll talk it through with you. But the other thing that we're doing that is really important too is we're able to bring a group of just interested community members, and it's really been spearheaded by two just regular everyday folks that they're passionate about. It's taking care of our minorities in the community and making sure that there's vaccine equity, and we are working hard on that. And it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but there's been clinics for Bhutanese, there's been clinics for our Indian community, there's been clinics. There's a new clinic scheduled for our Spanish speaking community. Right. All the clinics are open to everyone, but
which I know you mentioned to today, one of our meetings, that you're putting people on to break that language barrier, so get the word out to so
we want to make sure there's translators. We want to make sure that if something needs to be printed in two languages, it's there and available. And we're again, like everything else we try to do, we do it with dignity. We do it with respect for everyone's culture and their community, and we want to make it comfortable. Okay, we want to make it about them and what their needs are, and making sure we're meeting them. And there's a lot of fear in some of the communities too surrounding the vaccine that goes with cultural heritage, and working with our partners to work through that is important, because we can't do this alone. And it speaks to all the work we're doing. And I go back to our human service partners, the core partners that we have in this, the United Ways and the United Neighborhood Centers and the NeighborWorks are strongest partners in this, and say this is the model for how we have to do work for everything going forward.
Yeah.
This is not just a pandemic thing.
Well, I think you've adapted well. You've impressed me coming in as a new commissioner. Like I said earlier, I got to know you and saw the work that you and your team do. It just amazed me, and I don't know how the county couldn't do without you. I know that you do a phenomenal job, and I can tell you take it. You work 24/7. I know that. I
appreciate it, but I'm part of a great team,
yes,
and we're allowed to operate as a team, and that's important for people to know. I've been through lots of administrations in my time, and I started at the very bottom, and I worked myself up to be a director, holding a lot of jobs. But we're allowed to be teams. We're allowed to work interdepartmentally. So the arts and culture department helped us put together the Grandparents Raising Grandchildren conference this Friday. Maureen did an outstanding job.
Yep.
Aside from some of the things she's helped us throughout the pandemic to help get the clinics off the ground, Brenda Sacco's department continuously helping us access grant opportunities. And like I said, the maintenance guys, they don't get enough credit. They're always helping.
They do.
And
they do. They're good guys, and they had the pavilion, which was basically left as a ghost town. They had that whipped into shape in a day or day and a half.
I was there maybe 24, 48 hours before we were up there with the governor, and the transformation in just a short period of time. And we're watching roads and bridges lay new blacktop to make sure that no one tripped while maintenance. It really was a great show of what we can do effectively as a government, as an organization, to get something done.
Well, it's amazing what you do when everybody works together.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that's the way it needs to be, and it's been a little while, but I think we've gotten there.
Yes.
So 211, that's a good number to call. Go on our website, lackawannacounty.org. All the information's there. Right. Is there a number that they can call? Any specific other than 211, or is that the best?
211's the best and easiest if you're going to go by phone.
It's easiest to remember.
Otherwise, online just depends on if you're looking for DePietro's Pharmacy or the Medicap Pharmacy or Hometown Health, Delta Medics. Everybody has their own website.
Right.
Scranton Primary.
Right.
All of our providers who are giving the vaccine.
Well, one thing I forgot that you initiated too, I think you initiated that, was getting the help, because the holdup with the pharmacy was the paperwork and entering everything as they did the vaccine. And you didn't you have students that you hired? And
we built out a collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce, and what that is we allocated some funding to the chamber to help hire students from every local university to not only to help with getting the data that's really critical to showing what kind of vaccine, how many vaccines we've used into the Department of Health portal, but it also helps with the events that some of those students come to and helps register people, or helps get the upload of insurance information and identification information into the
took all the time. That took
So we built that program out with the Chamber of Commerce too. It's just another layer of collaboration to really make sure that we left no stone unturned. And when we say that we built a community project, it's everybody played a role. Education, healthcare, private industry, just even to Center City Printing, getting us the consent forms printed in a day. We need 4,000 consent forms in Spanish. Can you get it to us?
No problem.
And it's done, and it's work for the greater good. And it makes you really feel good when you go home at night being a part of this. So working extra hours and getting calls on the weekends, that doesn't matter when you're part of something bigger and better.
Yep, I agree, and I was happy to be a part of it and get to see how this all worked. And I think you just did a great job. There's no question in my mind. But and I can't thank everybody. I can't thank them enough for what they've done. And then even during the whole crisis from the beginning to now, I mean, I know I went to work every day, and I know you went to work every day, even though we staggered offices and stuff. But
we never closed.
Nope.
For the Area Agency on Aging, our platform has been built so that we can work remotely, because 90% of our work is in the field.
Right.
So in reality, our productivity has never been better. because time wasted in travel,
Yep.
I mean, is gone now. So workers are making doing some of the best work that we've ever been able to do, and we're turning work over much faster because of the mobility. So we've had some success in the pandemic, but
Yeah.
those workers were the workers. I can always talk great about my staff because they'd always go above and beyond. We were closing the office down 2 days a week. And having only an emergency response team available, which we're required to do. But those other workers were making calls and helping people get registered for the vaccine, making sure that waiting lists were cleared. That's what they were doing. They were uploading data at clinics. At every clinic, you can see an area agency on aging volunteer in the back and uploading the demographic information. The some of the stuff that people might be hesitating to volunteer for, they're the jobs that the area agency on aging staff took. And you have to be proud as just coworkers and county employees to just know that there was other folks that wanted to do it too. Like I got a lot of calls from. I got calls from the controller's office. I got calls from HR. I got calls from 10 other departments saying, "Do you need more volunteers?
Yeah.
Can we come and help?"
Yep.
It's great to be part of that, and knowing that you work with such good people all the time it makes you come to work every day happy.
Well, it does. And I enjoy coming to work. I love the job that I have, and I've said it before on my podcast, but before I got there, I didn't know what to expect. You think, people always joke around about state workers, and that's not the case. We have unbelievable, dedicated people doing great work, and they impress me. They impress me every day. So,
and there's a lot of times there's no boundaries. There's no hours.
No.
Rick Notary sending me a message on Sunday.
Yeah.
How are we going to handle this? And Joe Dorenzo
Yeah.
calling at all hours just to say, okay, this is what we got to get worked on, and this is how we got to make sure people are aware. So
we have an awesome team, and it's all good. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add that I didn't think of, or?
Well, we just exactly the area agency on aging. We're there. We're the gateway to older adult services. We're there to assess your needs. We're there to help you determine if your nursing facility clinically eligible based on your assets and your resources and your medicals, your medical needs, and qualify for the Pennsylvania waiver program. We're help you navigate that system. We're here for protective services. We're here for meals. We're here for senior centers. We're here for, just about anything. We help people when their furnaces break. We help people when their rent they're behind on their rent and we need to connect them to a program. We have legal services that we help people with for free. We help with ombudsman. We have a lot of provider partners that do this, but ombudsman and all the nursing facilities and personal care homes, that all comes from your aging office. And we're excited about Fridays in the Park. That's our new initiative.
Yep.
We want people to know about that. So all the listeners and viewers out there, please, come out, register. We're going to have Fridays starting on the 23rd in the parks. We're rotating through all the county parks. We're going to have yoga and music and activities, mural painting, you name it. Focused on health again, but walking clubs and pet therapy and just about anything you can think of that could be fun and done outdoors safely. We know people are so worried about coming inside, so why not bring it outside so people feel that they can socially distance and be together.
Well, it's all good. It is. We're coming out of the pandemic. We're coming in the spring. We're coming in the summer. The nice weather, perfect timing, and we get to utilize our parks.
And we have beautiful parks.
Yes,
and
we
our
do.
Parks department does an awesome job. And I know I'm the 21-year-old county cheerleader and talk about all my coworkers.
Me too, though.
But I'm proud of what we do every day, and I'm proud of being part of that. And I think it shows in everything, and when we're supported. And I will say this: that, you and the other commissioners, Commissioner Dominic and Commissioner Notariani, you came in with an attitude of support, and an attitude of you want us working together. There's no walls. You want things done, and you want things done right for the people. And I think it shows in everything we've been able to produce.
Well, it definitely shows because we didn't have a handbook for this one.
No.
So we did pretty darn good.
I think we have.
And, people, there's always the Monday morning quarterback, but for what we had and what we had to deal with, and I think we did very good, very good. So, and we're continuing. So it was a learning experience.
It absolutely was. And can we go back and say, hey, we could have done this? Sure.
Well, sure.
We all do that to ourselves
Absolutely.
all day long. But
That's all right.
I'm proud of what we've done, and with the cards that we've been dealt. So.
Yep, absolutely. Well, everybody, go on our website, LackawannaCounty.org. All the information's there. The 211 number, they can help you in almost any different way, and it doesn't cost you anything. So that's pretty darn good for what we do. So
I believe so.
Yep.
And we got ahead of the game. We got lucky. We locked down 211 early on,
Yep.
and we were able to take advantage of that system.
Well, sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, but we did great. And I couldn't have done it with you, your team, and everybody else with the county. So I thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on, taking your time, and I look forward to seeing you. I see you every day pretty much, or try to, but
Yes.
I think
I got to say, I know this might not be the easiest thing to work in, though, but I'll never forget sitting in my office working in the pandemic and the floor practically being empty. That's just me and maybe two other people on a 10,000 square foot floor. And you come walking in my office, and here I immediately jump to, what's wrong? What can I do for you? And it was you just checking in to see if I needed anything. And it was like a turning point, I think, in my head that, okay, we're in a different environment.
Yeah.
And it was very impressive from my point of view. Like that, wow, someone gives a shit.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
And I try, but I was learning too,
So, but it still sticks with me to this day, because we
appreciate
feel
that.
There's something about feeling supported in your work and respected that makes you work twice as hard.
I appreciate that, and you'll always have my support. So
Thank you.
But thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome, and you're always welcome back on anytime. If anything pops up, or I'll be here. So
We have a wide variety of services. If you want me to come on and talk about caregiver support,
we might have to.
we'd be happy to do it.
You never know what's around the corner.
Glad to do it.
Well, good. All right. Well, thank you, and appreciate it. So see you around the building.
Have a good night.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show with Jason Kavulich. I think it was very informative. And remember to reach out to 211 if you need any assistance, or just simply go on the LackawannaCounty.org website. Next week coming up, we have Matt Guedes from Camp Freedom. Camp Freedom helps out veterans, first responders, their families, anybody with any kind of PTSD issues, all outdoor activities. Great bunch of people. I love going up there. CampFreedomPA.org if you'd want to look into what we're going to be talking about. And they are always looking for donations. Great group of people, like I said, and I love to support them, and I love going up there. It's an 1,800-acre property. It's just a cool place. So if you like this episode with Jason, or the last week's episode with Gus Fahey, or any of the other episodes, and you'd like to send in a donation, remember, these are all paid for by the Friends of Chris Chermak, and all donations are greatly appreciated. So I'm looking forward to next week with Matt, and I thank everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week.